I want to talk about the recording process that you're going to go through when you come here to record. This project studio is really designed to be like a very comfortable environment, and I got to tell you, being in the recording studio is probably the most fun that you'll actually have as being a musician. Well, maybe besides actually going on tour with a major group or something like that. But I digress. Yeah, it's amazing. Like being here in the studio is all about being very creative. We basically try to make you feel extremely comfortable as a musician, give you all the different tools that you need. We've got just about every tool that you can think of that a major studio would have. We've got it here as well. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that and how this whole entire process works. When you come here, there are a few things that you probably should prepare ahead of time. Each member of your band or group, if it's just you, then it's easier. But if you have a band or a group that's going to be coming here as well, we have the ability of, we've got two different control rooms to put you in. So we've got soloists can be in one part of the studio, and then the group members, band members, can be in a completely separate part of the studio as well. So we've got two control rooms and two control booths that we can put you in. And I say control rooms, I mean two studio rooms that we can put you in, and then we've got the control room here that you're looking at. So basically, we're going to end up probably making you do, usually on if everything's working perfectly, everybody's running smoothly, we'll probably make you do 3 takes. The reason why I like to do 3 takes is because sometimes we would like to do something called comping when we go to actually mix time. And during that process, that's where we're going to actually find where you did all the best things. And so if you do 3 different takes, that we've got 3 different variations of how each performer did in that particular section, that's going to really make everything just sound great and sound amazing when we put it all together during mix time. So we'll talk more about how we do mixes a little bit later on in another video. But we do ask that you try something different during each take so that we can have something to comp against. It's not the best scenario when you do little small changes. Do something drastic, do something major, do something different. As many things as you can think of per take. That way we can pick and choose from a variety of things that you're looking at. So and it just makes it more aurally pleasing as well too. So but just keep in mind that obviously we try to keep it down to as little as 3 takes, because obviously too many takes cost money as well. So we're very attentive of your time in the studio. Extremely quick time it can be. I've got a lot of guys that come in here and a couple of takes later they're done, and then it's mix time. It's awesome. So it works out great, and the rates here are ridiculous. At $40 an hour, you really can't go wrong with that kind of a thing. So you may need to record to a click track. Be prepared to record to a click track if you are a solo guitarist and you want to time things up with other instruments later on. That helps if you're going to be timing things to other instruments later on. If everything's still pretty freeform, just a guitar and a vocal, no big problem. But if you're timing it to other instruments, having a click track that you're timed to, in some cases, can be great. And unless you have a full band coming in, then that also works. You don't have to worry about a click track because the drummer is your click track and your bassist is the click track or whatever. But and then bring all the instruments that you want to record with. Now, we've got a wide variety of instruments here as well. And when I say that, I've got some virtual instruments. So I've got some virtual drums. I've got some, virtual instruments built into my system here as well. But then you may want something different. You may want something, tambourine or some other instruments that you want as well. And then on top of that, you may want to have your own bass or your own guitar or your own piano or whatever other types of instruments that you want to bring in as well. So make sure that you have your own instruments, because in all actuality, you've practiced on those instruments as well, so you're probably going to feel a lot more comfortable using those instruments. So just keep that kind of a thing in mind. Vocalist. Let's talk about you guys. So I'm a vocalist. I'm a classically trained vocalist. I've been in operas before. I've been in lots of different choirs and all that kind of stuff. So I sing as well. So I totally get it, and I'm classically trained, so I can help you when it comes to getting the right vocals prepared. So that's one thing. But make sure that when you come into the studio, you're rested. it seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of guys sometimes will come in tired and they don't give the best performance that way, or whatever. So, if you want the best performance and you don't want to have to keep coming back, be rested, be hydrated, obviously, because a dry throat doesn't really work. Got plenty of water, though. We've got a kitchen. You can go in and grab water. If you want tea, I'll get you some. Just let me know different things that you may need in the studio, and I'll try and accommodate it for you. But make sure you're healthy. Don't have a cold or be sick or whatever. Although maybe that's part of your sound, so I'm not gonna negate that either. The song, know your genre, know the style of the song. Just be ready to give it all you've got for that particular performance. It's all about capturing the right performance when it comes to recording. So the more of that you can do, the easier and the better the recording is going to sound, and it's just going to be awesome. And relax. I try to make a very relaxed environment here so that you don't have to worry about not feeling comfortable. The booths look great, they sound great, you're going to sound great in them, so have a good time. It's really about that. Remember, as a vocalist, that the microphone is an ear. So, if you want that closeness of sound, it's pretty simple. You just got to get closer to the microphone. If you want, you're going to on stage, you're going to do that same thing. You're going to be adjusting for, when you're singing loud or when you're singing soft. You're going to be doing those same kinds of techniques. So, I've been a performer. I get it. So I know exactly the kinds of things that you're going to do there. The same kind of thing happens in a studio. You're going to stagger your step. You're going to go backwards and forwards and rock a little bit in position. So I'll guide you through all of that to help you if you don't understand it right when you come into the studio. That is definitely not a problem. Lead vocals sung very differently than a background vocal. You wouldn't want... I always give this old reference of like Gladys Knight and the Pips. The Pips wouldn't want to outshine Gladys Knight. That would be bad news, right? So make sure that the lead vocal sounds different. Now I have lots of tricks on doing that as well. We've got over 40 different kinds of microphones to put you on, 10 different kinds of preamps to put all that through. So, I can make you sound different in many different kinds of ways. But it's also good to know that, if you're singing a background vocal, sing it like a background vocalist would sing it. And if you're singing your lead vocal, then sound like you're the star. That's pretty much as easy as it gets when it comes to that. As an engineer, I understand lots of different things about, what you should sound like for different kinds of genres. And so that's why we have so many different microphones. That's why we have so many different kinds of preamps. And that's also why I will produce things a little bit differently. So when you come in, what I like to do is I like to listen to you first, because your voice quality gives me lots of clues as to what I want you to sound like, what you want you to sound like. So you're going to come in with some clues of things that you want for your sound. You're going to say, this is an R&B track, or this is country, or whatever. And the closest style to this in genre might be a song like this, or whatever. I know how to get those kinds of sounds. I've been around the block a little bit when it comes to the recording side, and of course the mixing side as well, so I'll be able to guide you through a lot of those kinds of things. Now, other parts of your band are going to come in, like your guitarist. So when you have a guitarist, new strings can really make a difference in your sound. So, unless the strings that you have are giving you exactly the kind of sound that you've been looking for, new strings may be exactly what you need to really make the recording sound even bigger, even better. So, give them a day or so to stretch, but other than that, maybe some new strings might be an awesome thing to have. Bring a couple of picks. I've got some here as well, just in case, but maybe you've got a favorite style of pick that I don't have. So make sure you bring that kind of stuff as well. Bring any stomp boxes that you may have. I don't really need you to bring any amps, because the way that we like to do it here is I actually have a ton of in-the-box kinds of amps to put you through. So whatever sound that you're looking for, gritty, dirty, clean, it doesn't really matter. I've got all of it. I've got walls and walls and walls, that kind of stuff, and a lot of that will happen in the mix process as well. So if you're doing some heavy rock and roll, man, we've got it. We've got all of that kind of stuff that you could ever imagine. So bring anything more specialized, like those delays that really make you sound whatever, or the choruses, or whatever stomp boxes that you may need to make your sound great. But when it comes to the amps, got that taken care of. Really, they can't be loud enough, so it's better to do them in the box most of the time. And then, let's see here. So let's talk about drummers, as a matter of fact. So, for drummers, what we like to do is, there's two ways. You can either bring in your own set, that's awesome. I love recording different kinds of sets that you may have. If you're going to do that, then you may want to think about new drum heads if you need them for your setup. New drum heads can obviously make a huge difference there. Bring your tuners for your drum set, although I have one here as well, just in case. Maybe your drums take a different kind of tuner, I don't know, but usually not, but it doesn't matter. We've got that kind of stuff covered as well, but bring new drum heads, bring new sticks. I've got a pair of sticks as well. I've got several different pairs of sticks, and they're new, so you may want to choose one of those as well, but they may not be the right weight for your sound or whatever. Any types of brushes that you may need if you're doing some jazz or whatever. So, and of course all the percussion instruments that you may want in the sound as well. I've got a lot of that virtually as well, so maybe you don't need it to be here. It all depends on what you're looking for, but I got to tell you, the authentic stuff sounds great. So if you want to have the authentic stuff, bring it. Let's make sure that we get it all in there. Have samples of what you want your drums to sound like. So, if you want that old school Phil Collins type of sound, make sure that you tell me what kind of sound that you're looking for. If you want some of the new tighter types of drum sounds that may happen in a rock and roll track versus an R&B track or whatever, let me know. I can take care of all of those kinds of things for you in the mix process. So let us know what you're thinking about that. And we've got an electronic set as well, so if you prefer, we can also do it electronically. I can control a lot of things with the electronic way of doing things because I can change any of those sounds after the fact. And I can beef them up, make them sound any way you want to as well. So if you don't mind playing on electronic skins, I've got that, and that can also be a huge benefit to you as a drummer. So let's talk about keyboards for a second. So, when it comes to keyboards, we've got an 88 key weighted keyboard here that you can play. And I've got every kind of piano sound, of course, virtually that you could ever want. So I think that would be, you can sound amazing on that if you're a keyboardist. But if you have your own specialized sounds that you really want for your particular track, let's say you've got a synth sound in there that is just, really difficult and you really want that particular synth sound, bring your own boards if that's the case. Bring your own rack of boards if it requires that. But typically most keyboardists, when in a band or whatever, they're going to probably be playing the basics, like a piano sound, an organ sound, or something like that. Those are pretty easy to find. I've got tons of those kinds of things. We can get you in on the basics and then tweak it later on in the mix if that's required. So you don't necessarily need to bring your own boards, but if you've got something specialized that you want, bring it. It sounds great. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. So we've got the space for it. You can be in our large room behind me here, so we can easily do that and accommodate that for you. So that's the general gist of how we record and all the different processes that we go through to make you sound great here at Brownout Studios. As I mentioned before, the rate's $40 an hour, so you can't go wrong with the kind of rate, and the kind of quality and sound that you're going to get here is just crazy. So I think you're going to love it. You're going to love the creative atmosphere that we have here. You're going to love the way that the studio feels for you. You're going to love the fun that you're going to have here, and we're going to make you sound crazy amazing. So looking forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, definitely give us a call about your specific project needs. This is the project studio that kind of can make everything happen for you. Brownout Studios. Hey, thanks. Looking forward to seeing you.